Got some more great news today. Nina Jankowicz, that scary woman who was appointed by the Department of Homeland Security to lead the Disinformation Governance Board of the Ministry of Truth, has resigned in disgrace after the widespread mockery, not of her singing, which again I won't subject you to, I'm sure you've seen the clip, but because she herself has spread countless pieces of disinformation. They couldn't have picked a worse person to lead such a project, and you're never going to guess who broke this devastating news. Taylor Lorenz over at the Washington Compost, that other despicable creature who doxed libs of TikTok, the woman who runs that Twitter account. Taylor Lorenz, the same woman who literally went on MSNBC and cried because people were sending her mean tweets. This is how she spun the story. How the Biden administration let right-wing attacks derail its disinformation efforts. It gets even better, though, because Peter Doocy asked the new White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, about this embarrassing new development.
Thank you, Karine. A follow-up to the Disinformation Board. Last week, you guys said that you needed this Disinformation Governance Board at DHS to make sure that freedom of speech is protected across the country and that these platforms are not used for forms of disinformation. So what changed?
Look, the Department of Homeland Security, they began their statement repeating that the board had been intentionally mischaracterized, which is a little bit of what you were asking me, and they were explicit about what it does and does not do.
You think the board was mischaracterized, then the Disinformation Board is being shut down because of disinformation? Is that what's happening here?
Look, I mean, the board was put forth for a purpose, right? To make sure that we really did address what was happening across the country when it came to disinformation.
And it's okay right now, 75 days.
It's just it's going to pause. There's been a mischaracterizations from outside forces, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to pause it, and we're going to do an assessment.
Even though Nina Jankowicz resigned in disgrace and made an embarrassment out of the entire plan, it's not getting shut down. They're just putting it on pause, so it'll continue under a different name, and they're going to keep it a little more quiet now. They'll start consulting with third-party, independent, non-government organizations like Data and Society. Remember, that's that think tank that put together the YouTube Alternative Influencer Report years ago when they mapped out a secret society of YouTubers who were undermining the mainstream media's message. This is actually bittersweet because Nina Jankowicz was only on the job for, 3 weeks, but she provided us with so much material. In her expert analysis, remember, she said it's not conservatives getting censored on social media, it's liberals, particularly black people. And she said Hunter Biden's laptop was just Russian disinformation and that the deep state's just a conservative conspiracy theory.
Talking about the deep state and things like that, which is a thread among conspiracy communities here in the United States, that there is this secret cabal here in Washington working to undermine the American people. It couldn't be farther from the truth as someone who works with and around public servants every day.
She also said that the color revolutions in Ukraine were just another conspiracy theory because the CIA doesn't have anything to do with orchestrating coups or overthrowing foreign governments. I mean, hey, just because the CIA's been involved in that kind of thing over 72 different times in the past doesn't mean that they would do it again. And I don't want to go down a whole other rabbit hole in this video, but the American public should know that Don Henry and Kevin Ives were murdered after they stumbled across a CIA cocaine importing operation in Mena, Arkansas, back in the 1980s. The liberal media industrial complex is quite upset that Nina Jankowicz became a meme and the entire plan was a disgrace. And here's the New Yorker's Jonathan Blitzer, who says that it's very striking reporting from Taylor Lorenz about how a Department of Homeland Security initiative to counter disinformation was prominently sunk by exactly the disinformation campaigns it was supposed to address. We're going ultra mega now. CNN Plus failed after 3 weeks. Scary Poppins resigned in disgrace and widespread mockery after 3 weeks. Jen Psaki quit as Old Joe's chief spokesperson and caretaker. She went to take a job at MSNBC because even the world's greatest liar isn't going to be able to put a positive spin on the Biden administration anymore. Elon Musk might be taking over Twitter. Things are finally starting to get fun again. Not to mention, Old Joe coined what is perhaps the best phrase since Let's Go Brandon. He literally gave us the gift of ultra MAGA.
Who came up with this phrase ultra MAGA? Why the need to kick it up a notch? Well, MAGA wasn't enough. I mean, why now use this phrase?
I will tell you is the president's phrase, and the president has made those comments himself just last week, as you know.
And so you know what this means, right? Of course, I put it on a t-shirt, which you can order from my online store at markdice.com or click the link in the description below. And like all of my designs, it's available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check it out.
But he's also not going to stand by and not call out what he sees as ultra MAGA behavior, ultra MAGA policies that are out of the mainstream of the country and are not in the interest of the American people.
So, Brandon, I agree.